Well, I could give it a try, and if it doesn't work, I'll purchase from somewhere else. I don't think that's going to be useful. I think what I'm going to do is try to hit it right here and try to knock some of this piece off. That's a better angle right there. See how it has kind of an acute angle? That's kind of what I'm looking for.
What you want to, easier to fracture.
I could try knocking off a prismatic blade, actually. That would be more illustrative of Native American technology, actually. Sometimes you'll find cores like this in archaeological sites that have narrow, long flakes knocked off like this. And those are known as blade cores. I mean, all the stuff I have on display here are like, spearheads and bifaces and stuff, which are more the stereotypical knife blade type of things that collectors like to see. Yeah. But another technology would be the flake tool technology, and blades are kind of like the height of that flake tool technology.
So what does the smell we smell? Is something volatile
just like
that comes off?
The rock powders we can actually smell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's really striking.
Yeah, you can, and you don't want to breathe in too much of that.
Silicate, yeah.
So it's just rock compounds of the rock then?
It's basically
silica.
Little things like this floating around in your lungs.
Got it.
Tearing everything up. So, alright, this should do something interesting.
Nice.
Oh, there's a good one.
Wow.
Yeah, that's basically, it's a kind of a chunky version. But
That's
this is
it.
basically a prismatic blade.
I mean, already that's something useful.
Yeah.
You could do.
Technically, for Native Americans, for what I do when I study stone tools, a blade is any flake like this that's twice as long as it is wide. And it's even more defined if it has a very hard to observe platform on it, and if there's various ridges going down it, then it would be called the true blade. This is pretty close to a true blade.
Wow.
But it's also a really good flake, so I can kind of help explain some characteristics of flakes. If you kind of look at it in cross-section like this, you'll see how there's kind of a lump. This is where I struck it, and then there's kind of this lump right here. That is the bulb of percussion. When you hit the rock, it kind of compresses the rock slightly, and then the force radiates out from that compression. And that compression leaves this bulb. And if I hit a rock, let's say I was hitting this one and I wasn't getting stuff to come off, I was leaving those bulbs inside the rock.
Ooh.
Just because I didn't knock anything off, it doesn't mean that bulb isn't there. And then when that bulb is left behind, it becomes kind of a knot. And when you try to knock off a flake next to that bulb, it'll get messed up because that bulb is in the way. It's called an incipient cone, but I kind of like to call it a bruise because that's what it acts like. But yeah, so sometimes if I hit a rock a lot and I don't knock any flakes off, then I'm kind of ruining it because
internally it's affected.
Yeah.
You can see how some of this stuff could have been discovered, right? You could just take a chunk of chert, throw it on the ground, and already useful instruments just spread out.
That's the thing.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's easy to make something that's useful, but it's hard to make something that's really formal and nice.
Yeah.
And this might be, I might try to knock off another piece, but I can set that aside and see if I can modify that in a little bit.
Wow.
But now,